How to plant asparagus. An asparagus crown, and I know it's tempting, but no, you don't wear this. To plant asparagus, we're going to take these crowns. They're established 1 year old from Leroux. It's a reputable breeder, and as you can see, there's already a little baby asparagus sprout coming up here. So in the hole, we don't want to plant it sideways or completely vertical. We want to spread the roots out as much as possible. I know it looks like a kind of spider, weird alien thing, but that is an asparagus crown, and the breeder is reproducing these by letting the asparagus plants go to flower, produce a fruit, collect the seeds, plant the seeds, and then they can grow more asparagus crowns, and that's what they're giving you to plant. And the fruit of the asparagus is actually poisonous to humans, so you don't want to eat it. We're going to plant the asparagus 6 inches deep, 1 foot apart on the row and 2 feet apart between the rows, and we're going to bury the asparagus as much as we can with some dirt and a rake, and then we just water it down. It's going to take 2 to 3 years until we're able to actually harvest these asparagus, because we don't want the crown to lose too much energy. We want it to establish as much as possible, and then it's going to produce for 20 years overall, so we should have at least 17 to 18 years of production on these asparagus. So when I'm 50, without further ado, let's plant some asparagus. This is an asparagus crown, which is the rooting system that is reproduced by a breeder, and if you can see on the camera, it's got some very, very fine roots. And basically they let the asparagus plant go to flower, they let it produce fruits, and then they collect in seeds, and they use the seeds to propagate and create more crowns. So this crown is already a 1 year old crown, so I'm just going to immerse it in this bucket of water and let it soak, and I can see the bubbles in the water, which means that the roots are absorbing the water. We want to make sure that it's nice and well watered down, so I'm going to soak it here for a minute or so before I plant it. We're going to make sure that the roots are spread out in the hole while we plant it. We've got a trench dug along the field here in a nice well drained area of the field. It's a bit of a sandier soil because asparagus like to have well drained soil, and this plant is going to take 2 to 3 years before we can harvest. It will produce spears early, but you do not want to take spears in the first year or two of the asparagus plant's life. And the asparagus is going to live for about 20 years. So we should get about 18 years of production at least out of these plants. We've got 400 that we're going to put in today. And for asparagus, you want at least 2 feet between the rows and 1 foot between the rows on the bed, with at least a 6-inch depth of planting. So now that I've got this asparagus root nice and wet, I just stick it into my hole here. Make sure that the roots are nice and spread out. Kind of looks like kind of weird alien vine thing. But you don't want to just lay it flat in the trench like that or have it just straight up. You want to have it as spread out as possible. After you've planted, all you've got to do is cover the hole and water, and then wait.